a fairly easy crop to grow as long as the soil is well cultivated prior to planting. Beetroots do not enjoy wet, boggy or shady soils. Beetroot can be sown in trays and transplanted when the seedlings have 2 true leaves. Plant in full sun, space seedlings 10 to 15 centimeters apart, and rows 20 centimeters to 30 centimeters apart so they have room to grow. Beetroots are also ideal for containers or raised beds. Beetroots will happily thrive in small areas as long as there's at least 20 centimeters depth of soil. Beetroot has been used not only for food but also for treatment for numerous conditions.
And it's 32 minutes past 4 p.m. right here on a Farmers Media. This is the Farm Drive Show with me, Conrad Kibe, and we're just having an amazing conversation about digital marketing basics in agribusiness. And definitely we'll be having a conversation about the carbon credits with our CEO in a few. But in the meantime, it's good to have the pan of the day, and it's supposed to be on the screen right about now. The pan of the day, and the pan of the day today is the farm animal that is best, is the best timekeeper. It's called a watchdog. So pan is home and dry. So the best, or the farm animal that is best, is the best timekeeper is called a watchdog. So I hope that is home and dry. But in the meantime, as you're trying to connect with our CEO, it's good to just have some background on what is carbon credits. Probably the whole time you've been asking yourself, huyu ni nani, huyu ni mnyama gani, ama hii ni nini? As a farmer, probably you've never had anything to do with carbon credits. For farmers, that is. And carbon credits is basically a permit that allows the company that holds it to emit a certain amount of carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases, that is the GHG, and man-made greenhouses. That is the man-made greenhouses. Man-made greenhouses gas emission stimulates climate change. So this threatens the livelihoods of African smallholders. You already know the small African smallholders are world most vulnerable farmers. So if you didn't know that, and you're in Africa, you're a smallholder farmer, you're one of the most vulnerable farmer that the world has. And so soil degradation also continues in the sub-Saharan. We know that sub-Saharan part of Africa, and so this further aggravates or brings more of food insecurity. And remember, this is all about climate change. All right, you can see what the effect that climate change can actually cause. And tackling climate change and soil degradation requires very, very basic things. And you're talking about, we've done this in the show: crop rotation, reduced tillage, green manure, agroforestry. Very, very important. So all about the carbon credits. It's all about making sure that you're protecting. It's more of the climate change, making sure that we are protecting our green, whatever is green. So if you're a farmer, if you're an environmentalist, I think this is a very interesting conversation that we'll have, because you're pro green. When mtu nataka kuona everything is green, nothing that is being cut, especially the trees, agroforestry, making sure that we are doing things together, growing the trees together with the plants and all that, making sure that you're using green manure, crop rotation. This is more of reduced tillage in a farm. So pro-green people, this I think will be a very interesting conversation for you. And all increase, what you're talking about is carbon sequestration. Watu wa kwetu watafurahi sana nikisema hivyo. In the soil and also perennial vegetation, long term, they can also increase farm revenue So our CEO will be telling us what you can earn, probably roughly in a year's time, what you can have when you practice what you call, or when you get your carbon credits. And it's a very, very interesting conversation, as I told you. So it's good to have that. And also, however, you're a smallholder farmer, you're wondering how is it working for me? Because most small holder farmers are actually have not really gotten into carbon, really understood carbon credits and how it works, and what is it, what benefits will it have for them. So one major reason they need for this is immediate returns on the investments. Our CEO will be telling you how much or what investment will be having for you, but the only challenge is that there is to bridge the gap until farmers begin to benefit financially. So it's a step by step, it's a baby step kind of thing, but at the end you just look at the goal. What are we doing? So if you're a farmer, environmentalist, you want to see you land green, and you see we actually making sure that this climate change is affecting us positively, but not making sure that is affecting us negatively. So I don't know if we have our CEO online, and I don't know if we are ready to do this. Mike, are we ready to do the live? Sorry? So
yes, you can hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
I'm having a problem. I'm not hearing him. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Conrad.
I can't hear him well. Yes, as we try and connect with our CEO, we're talking about the importances, or why we should have these carbon credits, and what will actually improve from our side. And you're talking about crop rotation, having green manure and agroforestry, all this, and improves our soil. Imagine you earning from just making sure that your soil is improved, just and making sure that you're earning from having crop rotation, you're earning from having green manure and agroforestry, just making sure that those carbon units, and watu wa kwetu watanisame, ni sequestration. I believe that's the right pronunciation for that word. And having these carbon units, they're calculated at the end of probably roughly after a year, and you get your amount. You get all this. It's more of good deeds being paid by good deeds. You know, you've done a good deed by making sure that everything is green on your side, and you get something out of it, and it's something that will help you as a farmer, all right? And might be calculated per acre, and that's a good amount, especially with this economy. It's not really easy seeing people being paid for doing good things, and not everyone is paid for actually promoting we're talking about the people who they call themselves pro-green, you know. It's not everyone who is paid from having the pro-green. So this, when all of us make sure that we have this, then we'll not be talking about food insecurity. So I don't know if we have him, we can do this, or Mike, nipe mwelekeo. Okay, we take a break and then we'll come back and see if we'll have him. We'll talk to him.
Beetroot is a highly nutritious root vegetable. The beetroot is the top proportion of a beet plant. It is one of the many varieties of the genus Beta vulgaris, all of which are mostly grown for their edible taproots and leaves. Beetroot is a root crop that takes approximately 3 to 4 months to mature. Beetroot is a fairly easy crop to grow as long as the soil is well cultivated prior to planting. Beetroots do not enjoy wet, boggy or shady soils. Beetroot can be sown in trays and transplanted when the seedlings have two true leaves. Plant in full sun, space seedlings 10 to 15 centimeters apart, and rows 20 centimeters to 30 centimeters apart so they have room to grow. Beetroots are also ideal for containers or raised beds. Beetroots will happily thrive in small areas as long as there's at least 20 centimeters depth of soil. Beetroot has been used not only for food but also for treatment for numerous conditions. Cauliflower is a cruciferous vegetable that is naturally high in fiber and B vitamins. Cauliflowers are annual plants that reach about 0.5 meters and bear large rounded leaves. As desired for food, the terminal cluster forms a firm succulent cud or head that is in form of a cluster of flowers. Cauliflowers do well in fertile well-drained soils that are rich in organic matter. Just like other plants, cauliflowers are also affected by different kinds of pests and diseases which can hinder its growth, including unfavorable climate and growing conditions.
The many problems you will see in cauliflowers, and this one just one of them. You can see how the problem is. It's called riciness. You can see it living in a chana, that is, living each other. As you always say. But this one is usually caused by low temperatures. Yes. Low temperatures. Low temperatures during planting leads to this problem. So you have to make sure during planting you have favorable temperatures for your crops. Always talk to your agronomist when you plant so you can know when to plant what and what works when. Temperature will depend on your area, the area you are in. Because I can't tell you we are in Nyandarua, I want to grow this, and you are in somewhere in in coast, it's too hot. Yes, so that will depend also in your locality. Yes, and also if you are in those climates where it always changes. So you have to know when is the cold season. In cold season you can't do this because of A, B and C. And if it's too hot you can't do A, B and C. So always, that's why I'll just have an agronomist. Will guide you through it. Yes. And also do your market research and know what works where before you grow something as a farmer. Don't just do guesswork. There's a lot of pests that attack cauliflower. The most notorious one is aphids. Aphids will circle your leaves, and one thing you'll know, there's aphids on your leaves. They're always curling. Yes, they will eat, or they will suck the sap out of the leaf, and now when they are too weak, they start curling. They curl inwards. So that's how you'll know you have aphid attack on your farm. Yes, and now what you can do to control aphids on your farm is always keep them in check by spraying. There's always a chemical solution to it. There's a biological, and then there's IPM. Yes. The perfect head, I'll say, it looks like this one. Look at this. It's perfectly round, and it doesn't have any spots on it, and it's intact. That's what makes a perfect head, and is a good size, good market size. Not too small, not too big, not overgrown, just perfect. Yes.
Cauliflower is a cruciferous vegetable that is naturally high in fiber and B vitamins. Cauliflowers are annual plants that reach about 0.5 meters and bear large rounded leaves. As desired for food, the terminal cluster forms a firm succulent cud or head that is in form of a cluster of flowers. Cauliflowers do well in fertile well-drained soils that are rich in organic matter. Just like other plants, cauliflowers are also affected by different kinds of pests and diseases which can hinder its growth, including unfavorable climate and growing conditions.
The many problems you will see in cauliflowers, and this one just one of them. You can see how the problem is. It's called riciness. You can see it living in a chana, that is, yeah? Living each other. As you.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes to 5 p.m. right here on Farmers Media. This is Farm Drive Show with me, Conrad Kibe, and I think now we are good to go with the interview about carbon credits, and I believe my CEO he can hear me now, I believe. Mkubwa unanisikia? Bwana CEO.
Mkubwa ni Mungu, lakini I can hear you.
So yeah, this is for those who don't know, for those first-time farmers or first-time visitors to our Farmers Media. This is our CEO Noah Kadiali. Noah Nasiali Kadima. Sijui anapenda gani? Unapenda introduce formally gani?
Zote ni sawa.
Zote ziko sawa. And before we started the interview, we were talking more of, we gave a background on carbon credits. And basically, probably there is a farmer who has never heard about carbon credits and they don't know how they will actually help them as smallholder farmers, especially for the smallholder farmers. So what, in layman's language, what can you explain or just give a brief definition of carbon credits?
Thanks for having me, Conrad. Carbon credits is a very interesting discussion that people have been having for a while now, and basically it is in layman's language is being able to clean the air, that we are breathing, that we're using, but the credit itself of carbon is it's a tradable permit or certificate that provides the holder, the person who buys and owns the certificate or the credit, the right to emit 1 ton of carbon dioxide or an equivalent of another greenhouse gas. So basically it's somebody who is buying their ability to be able to pollute the air. So in essence that they're paying people to help clean so that they can do to pollute, but not in a way that it can be able to help the environment.
So basically, it's more of we've talked about everything being green. It's more of cleaning the air, as you have said. And so there's someone who has already been doing that, but talking about cleaning the air, making sure that everything is green and making sure they're using something organic, green manure and everything. But now they're wondering, are there approaches of how you can get the carbon into the marketplace, that is? Are there marketplaces?
Yes.
The approaches.
Yes and no. Yeah. So what I can say is that from what we are doing right now is we are approaching it from the farmer perspective now. We have had some activities that farmers have already started engaging in, but they do not know that that contributes into carbon, and whatever activities that they're doing or their way of farming can help increase the creation of carbon. And that way, but before even going that, I would just wanted to touch on something small, and then I will get into the farming part. I don't know how much time I have, but basically the main goal of creating the carbon credits is basically to reduce the emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases from industrial activities to reduce the effects of global warming. So basically what we're doing, what you're saying is the creation, the main goal of thinking carbon credit is to see how we can be able to reduce the emissions, the carbon dioxide emissions out there. And why carbon dioxide? Because that is number one. The CO2 gases are number one in increasing the global warming. I remember in I think it was in a while back, like 20 years ago, I had the topic, my topic science congress was the greenhouse gases and how to eradicate the same, to reduce the emissions. I did not know later on in life I would be able to be talking about this in what we do. And so, so many farmers will be asking, how is it related into what they're doing? And farmers are number one in actually making sure that the environment is safe, because the more the climate, global warming, the more it affects the weather. We get erratic weather, and it affects us as farmers directly. So why this is important is because if we contribute into doing this, then we'll be having a safer, cleaner environment, number one, and we'll be doing our part. Apart from feeding the world, we'll also be introducing the emissions. So let me just to what farmers have been doing is that they've been doing the same thing. They've been practicing conservation agriculture. They have been doing no-till, close to zero tillage in terms of disturbance of the soil. The other thing has been doing mulching or crop rotation, but they have not been doing it with a view of earning out of it. And that's what we are doing now as farmers and some of our partners, is to be able to see how can farmers benefit in terms of revenue by them practicing basically things like no-till or zero tillage or minimum disturbance of the soil, crop rotation, planting of cover crops, like. So that is what we are doing, and that's what we're saying. Can farmers, apart from farmers selling their produce to the market, what else can they do?
Okay. And you've actually just touched on what the farmers are doing. And the only difference they're doing it the right way, but not in the end goal being making sure that they are cleaning the air as you've put it. And now, someone who was doing that, as a farmer who has been doing that. So what we're talking about the approaches now. How can you? How will you help the farmers now make sure that they are doing the same thing, zero tillage, making sure everything they're using is talking about crop rotation and all. Now making sure that they are doing that, but at the end goal is making sure that you're saving all this and making sure they are cleaning the air, so that they can earn from carbon credits. Yeah.
Yes. I almost thought you forgot the last part of it. So it is practicing safe and good agricultural practices. Na unaangalia pia pesa mfukoni. So basically what we're saying is that we're going to link farmers directly and to organizations that are actually interested in buying carbon credits. And buying carbon credit, it means that they will be able to earn some money out of it directly from the organizations that are buying the carbon credits. We have a partner that we are engaging with, and we have just started the baby steps in terms of identifying who is this farmer who is able to grow which crops. I don't know if you can hear me clearly. There's some
No, I can't hear you clearly. I think they need to
what about now?
Just increase the volume kidogo so that I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear
don't
you.
know. What about now? You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. Yeah, so basically what we are saying is that, so what we are doing is that we are actually talking to organizations that are farmer-friendly organizations that are willing to be part of this journey with us.
Okay.
To be able to support farmers. The organizations are there. There's a lot of demand in carbon credits, and that's why we're saying let us make sure that farmers can be able to get the right information, especially on how to do it right. Because the challenge with so many of these programs that are farmer-related are that they are so confusing, and farmers are told to do so many things. Sometimes they're told to test your soil, use this fertilizer and all that. But now we want to simplify some of this information. Basically, we analyze what have you been doing on your farm. And the system we'll be using with our partner is a system that definitely shows us it is not just what you have started doing because of the attractiveness of the carbon credits, but it's also what have you been doing before, and be able to analyze. It's a satellite system that can be able to analyze what is this crop that you've been growing, because we'll be getting some information. So I urge farmers to be able to register as members, because we'll be starting it out with the members of Africa Farmers Club first, and by extension our viewers and the farmers. First of all, we'll roll out to all to Sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay, now to now the most interesting question that probably most farmers have been waiting for. So how much will it cost when we're talking about the carbon credits? How much will it cost for the carbon credits to be sold? How much? How much rather will it cost to sell my carbon credits?
Well, I cannot answer specific figures because if I answer specific figures, I might be taken to court by being say that you said you promised. No, basically what we will that there's an education that we will take farmers through. There's some training in terms of what they need to, how they do it, and apart from just doing it, it's something very interesting that will also make sure that farmers are also. Why should you be, apart from just the earning of your soil texture, you're improving your farming activities, reducing your costs, you're helping improve the answer your question. This will vary. It will vary depending on the crop, depending on the quality of the carbon that you are helping reduce, and that way then it will vary, because number one, the type of crops that you grow, and I'm not saying farmers should go and grow maize. No, you'll find that the residue from maize is quite a lot in terms of quantity against a farmer who has grown tomatoes. You'll find that somebody who's doing cover crops like sweet potatoes, things like beans, will be having quite the amount of carbon that they may be helping create will be quite more than somebody who's growing something like onions. So we will be taking farmers through this training. What we urge farmers is to register as the members. I think we'll be sharing the link in the comment. Able to do this, then we can be able to analyze where they are, because we need the GPS location for their farms, and be able to understand exactly what are they, what is the practice behind this. Those who are already doing it will also analyze and see what have you been doing, how are you doing it, and then we help you improve, not only in earning from carbon credits, but also improve in your farming activities.
Okay, you've talked about the training that farmers should register. Probably briefly, kidogo, to what do you expect? Because we'll have farmers will be thinking by the time they register, they'll be having questions like, if we have lease, an agreement lease with land, how will we divide all this when it comes to the decision making of carbon credits? So what are some of the key main things that the training will consist of?
So the training will consist of what are you doing now, how are you doing it, and which crops are you growing, which is your water irrigation system that you're using, and of importance, what you is the land that they're farming on. Is it land from is it leased land or is it owned land? Leased land will be tricky because carbon credits is not something that you harvest after every season. It's something that occurs after every given time. It's a year, 1 year plus probably even 2 years for you to start really earning. Because definitely what we are doing is that you will be earning from the activities that you've engaged in on the farm, and not from what you're producing from the farm. Okay, but the obvious results that you will see is improvement in your soil texture. It is improvement in your produce, because definitely the produce will be healthier. It is and it will help you reduce the cost of production, because reducing cost of production means that you can be able to be competitive in the market. In terms of things like even no-till, it means that even the mechanism of the activities in the farm, like using tractors and all that, will be a thing of the past. And definitely conservation agriculture, as one of my friends called Thomas Okello says, it's the safest way of producing healthy food.
Okay, there's a question that just came in on you here, and he's asking, will I need to invest in new technologies or platforms?
Sorry?
He's asking, will I need, when it comes to carbon credits, will I need to invest in new technologies or platforms?
Well, that is something now what I wanted to mention, and for obvious reasons, yes. The part of the training that we'll get into is something very basic, because what we want to do is that we want farmers to understand that you do not need to mechanize all those big things to be able to get it done right. So there's no new technology that farmers need to engage to start adapting to. No, farmers will just actually reduce even the technologies they're using. For example, if you are in the practice of removing the produce and then you burn the residue that remains, that one is out. Then something else, I'm just seeing another question coming here through, sorry. And something else that to be able to do this, what you just simply need to do is you probably even reduce some of the activities that you are engaging in as a farmer, because no tractor anymore on your farm, and no burning of residue. Sometimes we burn because it's healthier, but it will require a lot of patience, because when you're planting the land, the residue that is there, you need to now plant with it. You make it rot on the farm, and that will mean that probably sometimes you cannot just start planting a new crop after you've harvested the other one. It will require you to harvest, to wait for some time for that the previous crop to rot. The other way is how to clear the land so that you can prepare for the next crop, and also crops that can help you earn more in terms of carbon credits.
Okay, and as we almost winding up, is there a limit of the total number of acres I can enroll so that in terms of harvesting? Is there a total limit of limit of the total of numbers of acres? Kama niko na large farm, kuna mahali wanasema ukifika 50 acres that you can't harvest, hatukutaki. Is there a limit?
The more you have, the merrier. We are actually looking at how small can a farmer start earning carbon credits. So we are still in discussion with our partners and see can a farmer starting with 1/8 of an acre make a difference. So that is now where we are also starting. So the more acreage you have, the better. So our bone of contention is how small can a farmer start? Because you might find a farmer has, smallholder farmers in Africa start with 1/8 of an acre. I started farming on 1/8 of an acre, but at least from 1/4 of an acre and above. So the more you have, the merrier.
The more you have, the merrier. And so as we wind up, I would like just you have a word to smallholder farmers, especially those, because we've seen they are the most vulnerable farmers in the world, and it's good for them to have that push, and to understand that these carbon credits just don't actually benefit for those who have large they're large holder farmers. For the small holder farmers, what can you tell them regarding carbon credits, and just kind of encourage them to get into it? And at the end, unajua kila mtu anataka pesa, anataka mukuchu, na itawasaidia small holder farmers, but talk to them and tell them why they should join it, why they should join carbon credits.
You can imagine, I'll use an analogy, Conrad,
Okay.
if I'm allowed, is imagine if you can make money from everything on your farm, including the waste of a crop. What I say is that there is no small and big farmer. All of us are farmers. It just depends how you are doing and practicing your farming. Because there are some farmers with 1/8 of an acre who are earning more from farmers with an acre. So it is just how you plan your farm, what the activities that you do, how you make sure that you're making some money out of it regularly. Because at the end of the day, the whole idea about farming is not to harvest money at the end of 3 months. Is how often can you get money how regular can you get money? Basically, are you harvesting and selling every week? Are you harvesting and selling every month? Or you have to wait for 4 months or 8 months? Okay, so farmers who have smaller sizes of land, or farmers who have started really small, an eighth of an acre, quarter of an acre, what I would just like to encourage you is, I started on an eighth of an acre. Took me 6 years for me to increase from that eighth of an acre to the next level. Okay, so what you do is that perfect with what you have. My motto in life is that make the best of what you have. Make the best of what you have. So if you're doing an eighth of an acre, what are your returns? Remember, your costs will be much lower. Okay, so make sure that you're also perfecting that, whatever you're doing. If you are, and I always say that farmers, we don't farm in acres. We farm we farm in terms of per square meter. You know, what are you making out of that square meter that you have? Okay, because that is the difference. You can have an acre and I get more produce from my quarter of an acre than you are. So make sure that you know how much are you getting per 1 square meter. What the cost of production per square meter? If it is onions, if it is maize, how many plants do you have per square meter? Then extrapolate it to whatever acreage that you have, and that will to earn more because of whatever you have.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that. And actually, just joining this conversation, I believe it's not the last time we'll have this conversation. It's a conversation that will keep on going, especially when we'll have now a time to have this conversation for as much as we can, especially if we have a show for this. But this is a conversation that will keep on going. It's just a spark that we started, and with the help of our CEO and the partners that we'll be having, I believe this is a conversation that will keep on going. So Noah, asante sana kwa wakati wako. You know, sometimes having CEOs giving you time, you just have to appreciate for the work that they are doing. And definitely when you've talked about the eighth of hiyo shambulianza now, just kudigress tu kidogo. Hapo ndio ulipata hiyo cabbages, alafu ukafanywa ile kitu.
No, I had now moved from the eighth of an acre 6 years later and got another piece of land. It was, first of all, it was leased land, and after that, that's when I planted the cabbages. It became a different story, but it has propelled and helped create what we have now as A Farmers, the home of African farmers.
Okay, asante sana. So if you think you're having a bad day,
right,
just know one day our CEO planted had 65,000 cabbages na hakuna market alipata. So if you think you're having a bad day, kuna watu wali have bad years and bad months. So thank you so much, Noah, for that. I don't think we'll have a break. Just go straight to the traffic updates. And just Mombasa Road from Bellevue, it's looking a total mess. So make sure that if you're using that road, be advised accordingly. And I think it cleared Outer Ring. There was kulikuwa kunaendelea sijui nini hapo with the watu wa boda boda. They had blocked that road, so I believe the road is looking well. Kutoka Panari hadi hapo hakukai vizuri, so make sure also watu wa traffic along Mlolongo is getting out of hand. So if you're using Mombasa Road, just brace yourself and get the patience and the grace to actually have that road. And someone here is saying the thought of using Mombasa Road gives me depression. Usingie kwa depression. Good things take time, so make sure that you're observing all the traffic rules. Let's be kind to one another, especially during these times. Mafuta imepanda, gas imepanda. People are battling so many things outside there. So let's be kind to one another. Let's not trigger each other to actually do things that you will not like them done unto you, right? So let's be kind to one another on these roads. And as we finish up, watu wa Jogoo Road, kutoka hapo ni kama nyinyi ni masista wa Mombasa Road. So also Jogoo Road, traffic is building up on that road, sorry. So with that, I think it's time to wrap up the show. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Thank you so much, our CEO Noah, for talking to us about the carbon credits. And it's a conversation, as I've said, it's a conversation that will not end here. We'll have that conversation more and more on the show. All right? So take care of yourself. Make sure you wearing your mask properly. Si kwa chini, usieke chini ya chini. I always want to say that pun very well. Okay, usieke mask chini ya chini. Make sure that you wear your mask properly. use sanitizer, or if you don't have a sanitizer, clean water and soap, and maintain your social distance, because I'll need you here tomorrow at 3 p.m. as we do another great show of the Farm Drive. Thank you so much. On behalf of my production team, that is Mike and Lister, hatuna kitu ingine ya kusema ila Mungu wabariki, and inshallah see you tomorrow.